All right, welcome to the Stellify podcast, and I've got my very beautiful friend Abi Roberts back on the show, and I've
Beautiful, no less.
Absolutely.
The checks in the post.
I hope so. I'm skint. Well, and obviously we're putting on a little event in October, and that was one of the main reasons I wanted to get you on the show, so we could have a chat about that and have people have an understanding of what we're trying to achieve there. But obviously it's always great to have and that's, I think, the last time you and I properly spoke is when I was down in London visiting my daughter, and we met up for
that was great in Chiswick.
In Chiswick, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was lovely. It was lovely to see you, and I think we managed to slag off Matt Hancock at some point in the conversation, which is always worth doing. Yeah. It's always
I think I did my Medazzle Matt, didn't I? Medazzle Matt. Medazzle Matt. Arrest that cunt. He's a murdering twat. And guess what? He's still walking the streets.
Well,
how is that even possible?
This is where it's, for me, I think this place is so inverted that people like Medazzle Matt clearly will get away with murder.
We'll get away with, exactly, with murder. God, like heart to heart, it was murder. You just think, well, that's because bad people like Matt Hancock do, as we've seen, get away with. And he's going to start saying, he probably already has, unless he's already escaped to an island somewhere, a secret Epstein Island. He's going to start saying that, but nobody knew. And, oh, yes, but we were told this and we were told this. And as I've said before, you don't need to know any science at all. No medical stuff at all to know that it was all wrong. It's just that simple. It's like you don't even literally that's all your knowledge you need is right and wrong. That's it. No figures, no stats, no nothing. Couldn't give a fuck.
We're born with a moral compass, aren't we, Abs?
Yeah, moral compass. And people's moral compasses were like, when you see those when compasses are like near a magnet and they go, that's what Matt Hancock's and various other people, because they're Greek, because they're politicians, they're close to, the sort of avarice, greed, all the seven deadly sins. They have no self reflection. I don't think any of these people go home and go, was that the right thing to say? Maybe I should ask. And none of them have friends who are philosophers or theologians or people that they can. That's what I think we should have in government. We should have, in any leadership, is people close by who are advisors. But I don't mean political advisors. I mean spiritual advisors. Someone like you. Say I went into politics. It has been. Don't laugh, but someone has said recently, "Why don't you go into it?"
I'm like, for you, Abs.
But you'd vote for me. Well, I was going to say you'd be my advisor. I'd want you to be there, going. Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's morally, if that's what we're missing. That's what we're missing. And then we'd also have a piss up and we'd probably get stoned as well. And then I'd get thrown out in the next, and then there'd be like a photograph taken of me, like with, I don't know, with my tits out, and everyone would go, that Abi Roberts, she's been a traitor to the cause.
Is that the one that says, get them out?
Get them out. Did you see her on the march? Get them out. And everyone was like, you do mean the politicians, don't you? And whatever, because she had massive jugs. And they were like, yeah, well, we should say I was on the march. So people watching understand the context. Yeah, I was on the march in London, the Unite the Kingdom, which obviously is associated with Tommy Robinson. I have never met Tommy Robinson. I've met Katie Hopkins once. She was delightful, actually. I'm going to give credit where it's due. We did a gig together a couple of years ago that Charlotte, our lovely friend Charlotte Emma, the Baroness of Burnley, she organised Comcast. Were you there, weren't you, at Comcast? Were you there the first one?
No, I've never been to any of them, no.
Because I think there was two, wasn't there? So the very first one Katie did, I'd never met her. But when you walk into a green room or something, and if someone's very well known, sometimes, very often, it's quite disappointing. They kind of go, oh, hi. There's a bit of like, who the fuck are you? And then they turn away. She was the opposite. She was like,
Was
hey,
she?
Abby, it's so nice to meet. Really, the energy was good. That's all I'm saying. That's all I can go on is someone's, what am I getting from somebody? Am I getting hoity-toity, cold, fucking ice cold cunt bitch eyes? Or am
And
I
you
getting...
feel it, don't you? Yeah.
Am I getting? Because people, it's very difficult to fake that, Ant. Especially when you're in a backstage or you're kind of in that mode. Because you'd have to literally be thinking of two things at once. Like I'm doing a gig, but then I'm also, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to have my happy smiley face on. Very few people can pull it off where they can mask who they are.
Yeah. My ex-wife was very good at that, though. She did that for 10
My
years.
ex-wife, yes.
10 years
There's
solid.
lots of psychopathic people out there, sociopaths, who make it their life's work to make people uncomfortable and,
Yeah, they do. And this is what's interesting about the human psyche, the human, obviously, we're talking about Matt Hancock as a clear something not right there, and there's and if you're going to get into politics at that high end, I think you have to have that kind of clearly not right, something not right there kind
something
of thing
not right
going
there.
on.
Yeah, I do think that, I do. It's like with the police. I remember Terry, my lovely late husband, Terence, he used to say, anyone that wants to join the police, you need to have you need to look at them with scrutiny and go, why would you, want to join the police force? I don't know if that's necessarily true of all of them, obviously, but it's that kind of, because if you think about it, you want to join an organization that kind of enjoys punishing people. I mean, you want to arrest them, you're going to question them, you're going to always be suspicious, aren't you?
Yeah.
As a copper.
Yeah.
If you're walking around going, I mean, obviously we need some kind of law enforcement, but I just think the mentality of wanting to be in the police is quite interesting.
It is, and I think there's like a bullying factor. I mean, I think
that's it.
I think the school bully, or even the bullied that wants revenge kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same with politicians as well. Although
I think Bill Gates. Bill Gates with the pie in the face. He clearly wanted to wipe out the entire planet after he was humiliated with that pie in the face.
The pie in the face. Yes, you're right. These people have very, very thin skins. So, someone like Matt Hancock has probably, micro dick. He's very definitely been humiliated in the showers by somebody.
He's got the name for it. Hancock.
Hancock, exactly. Tiny cock, limp dick, or whatever the fuck he is. And I think in history, I think sociopaths, I think there is that element of always. I could look at Ted Bundy, my favourite comparison. Because remember I used to tweet a lot about letting Matt Hancock off. He's like, I don't know, or writing to your MP is like focusing on Ted Bundy getting a speeding ticket. You know what I mean? It's that kind of level of misunderstanding that this was a mass murderer, murdered and raped and mutilated lots of women. But Ted Bundy, I think if you look at a lot of those, the psychopaths, they have humiliation absolutely in their early years, whether it's their parents, their circle of friends, a kind of like just a very formative experience, which then leads them on to. So I think a lot of politicians will have that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that all of them are psychopathic mass murderers, but there is that definitely an element of something being on the spectrum of that.
There's some kind of fragmentation there, isn't there? Maybe it's like you look at Keir Starmer or Keir Starlin, as I prefer to call him.
Yes, exactly, Keir Starlin.
There's nothing behind the eyes.
No,
it's like there's nothing there.
No,
at all.
Because there isn't. Well, if there is, or it disappeared a long time ago. The dark soul, the darkness. It's like, have you ever seen a shark, looked into a shark's eyes? I mean, not in person.
Well, I'm not sure.
Have you ever swum with a shark and gone? Because if you see like things of their eyes, there's nothing there. It's black, totally black.
Yeah.
The shark's eyes.
Isn't it strange? I think there's a lot of people on this planet like that, unfortunately, though.
Yes.
And it's these people are groomed, aren't they? They're groomed into these positions, and they're not. It's like you have a party there that's supposed to have specialists in areas like education or health, and they're never specialists in their areas, are they? It's like, Matt Hancock, you're going to be health during the COVIDs because you're clearly
COVID
demonic, so you're ideal for this. You'll sleep.
You know, fuck all about caring for people or proper health. You know, as in what you eat and all that kind of stuff, and water. You're just a psychopath. Yeah, you'll do exactly. It's so fucked up. Like you said, it's all inversion. It's nothing to do with health secretary. What it should be to do with clean water. I mean, good water without the shit in it, plastics in it. What you eat, how much you sleep, fasting, prayer, meditation. All these things, light,
joy,
how much sunlight you get, vitamin. And yet it was the opposite. It was not health. It was it was illness. He was the illness secretary.
It's the hell secretary.
The hell secretary. I like it. Quick, I'll write that down for the gig. Because we got to talk about the gig, haven't we? Let's talk about the gig. Where October the 5th, isn't it? Sunday.
October the 5th, Birmingham. It's going to be fun. Yes. So we're going to be opening the doors at 3:00, and the gig starts at 4. And then there's going to be myself, Callie Spell, and John Cooper. Cool. We're going to be interviewing a special guest. So we're going to open the show, if you like, and then we're going to have a little break for food. I'm going to put together some multimedia stuff for during that break, so people can stay and natter and eat, and if they wish, and watch some of the. I'm going to put a montage together, I think, of the absolutely ludicrous clown world that we find ourselves in. That's my plan. And then I think we've got Gareth Ike coming on. So I think me and John are going to do a little pod type interview with Gareth on stage. I
love Gareth. What a good man he is.
Yeah,
Very good man.
I've only spoken to Gareth once. He interviewed me back in 2020 when I had the pub.
Yes.
And he came across very lovely. Yes. And we've exchanged a few emails, obviously, recently. And I've heard great things. And every time I listen to Gareth, he seems very balanced.
Very balanced, funny. And I love his walks. When he does his walks through the Peak District, when he does his... I really find those interesting. I'm like, proper, what do you call it? Like archaeology porn, or I don't know, something. When you do, you're just fascinated. I'm like, oh my God, you're going to go down that bloody... You're going to go underground, Gareth. You're going to be... Because that would be my worst nightmare. When you're trapped... If you were trapped under a rock and then you couldn't get out underground, fucking.
I know what I think Bonnie Blue should do a documentary like that, shouldn't she?
Archaeology porn. Just literally go, bloody hell. Hello. Like fucking Cheddar Gorge up there. Jesus Christ. It's probably lorry drivers who've been trapped up there for several years. Just hear a little voice going, let me out.
I saw a video on Twitter the other day, and it was a transit van. She drives around in this transit.
Anything to do with trans, I get jumpy and nervous.
I think there's questions on that with her anyway. But this van is like it's a blue, obviously. Bonnie Blue Bang Bus. So she drives around, and she's hanging out the window.
Bang Bus. What the fuck? I just think, if there is if people do believe that Satan is a real thing, that the devil is a real, he's doing a pretty fucking bang up job of getting into people's minds and their...
Well, clearly.
Yeah.
We're out of balance.
We're very out of balance, absolutely.
This place is so out of balance and so disconnected. It's sad. It's really sad to see, because I think generally people are good, and they just want to have a good life and a good experience. And we're just pressured so much and stressed so much and indoctrinated so much, and people don't have time to figure themselves out and find love in the heart a lot of the time. So they just they'll watch Bonnie Blue and the Bang Bus, and
because I have to say that because I know people are feeling it at the moment. The as we're kind of coming into autumn and then going into winter, the stress things. But I just want to give a little bit of a ray of, just realise the way I'm lit is a bit like, I've got a holy light literally coming at me from just, if you could see, it's like proper makeshift. There's a lamp there. But on the march on, when was it, Saturday, there was the glitzy, I've tweeted about this, there was the glitzy stage with Tommy Robinson, who, by the way, I think did great things exposing the grooming, let's not call them grooming gangs, let's call them what they are, rape gangs, young girls doing what, they're being raped by predominantly Pakistani men. So let's just give him credit there. And then the rest of the stuff, the Israel stuff, whatever, I'm like, whether he still thinks that, I'm not sure. I've never spoken to him. I don't know what his views are. But so aside from that, and the Lawrence Fox and all, the kind of the usual suspects who are like, look at me, I'm on a big step. Although I have to say, the gospel singers, fuck me. The band, to me, that was the highlight. There was one, I think her name's Sister Star, Lois Star. She's on Twitter, I think, as Sister Star. Honestly, the voices on, there were two other girls, so the three black women, and then there was the Geordie, I think he's from the northeast. And it's funny because he's like, hey, why, hey, everyone, we've got to like fight for the United Kingdom. And then the three fucking cool backing the singers were like, oh yeah, big wheels keep on running, and the primary keep on running. And then he's like, yes, everybody, let's raise our voices. So it was just such a weird mix, like, of the Geordie. And then these real kind of, honestly, fucking fantastic. So they were, but what I wanted to say was, and then it rained. It was fucking, people were drenched. But there are going to be elements, by the way, of people who are proper nationalists, ethno-nationalists. They only want white. That's it. We only want this. Get the fucking package out. Get this fucking out. All the fucking blacks and all that. You're always going to get that, by the way, in any march, in anywhere. You're going to get people who have differing. You're going to get elements of people who are so angry about what's happened over the last 30, 40 years with the Great Replacement, the Kalergi plan, the kind of like, let's just not have any borders, let's make the world sort of like carved into sections, like, Agenda 21. It's 2020, 2030. You're gonna have people who have had that anger building in them. And by the way, working class men and women, we're not talking about the fucking middle class, we're not talking about, it's such a terrible shame. There's, we've got these, different colours and whatever coming in. We're talking about people who are on their fucking uppers and have been observing all this without having a voice. That's the truth. So, you're going to have this. So I understand that. I look at them and go, actually, that's a fair point. You've been looking at all this and you've been seeing the rape gangs and you've been seeing the teacher who's in hiding in Batley, the teacher who was who showed the Prophet Muhammad, and then he was basically he's still in hiding with his family. That is never right, regardless of what religion it is, but it just happens to be Islam that's behind it. We have to face these truths. And then, but aside, and so I was shown such kindness, and honestly, I got really claustrophobic at one point because I don't know, from being on marches. This was about 2 million. I think it was about 2.5 million. That's what the Met said. Not only in Whitehall. We're talking people were coming over the bridges and they couldn't get into the Whitehall thing. So if you imagine, you've got hundreds of thousands in Whitehall up to into Trafalgar Square, but then you've got people who can't even get across Westminster Bridge or Lambeth Bridge, which is near where I live. So you know what I mean? So you're just like, and then at one point I was a bit like, oh, I'm not sure I like this because I'm claustrophobic, as you know, from my talking to you about being in the police cell. I was like, oh God. And then I couldn't see a way out. And this lovely lady, a couple of nice people actually, she let me through. There's a little disabled bit in the middle of the march, little thing, where they got the people in wheelchairs, and I said, you couldn't let me through, could you, so I could go to the other side, because I could see a way through to Parliament Square. I could sort of just see in the distance, the familiar, even though there were loads of people. And she went, oh yeah, go on then. And then she let me through, so I nipped through, and then she kind of, and a lovely guy, big, strong, lifted up, the one of the barrier things, because it was all linked together, let me through. And then I still had to get through this literally like, and I think people did faint, by the way, because the police were kettling people. Actually, I just got through before they started. The police were being fucking wankers, and doing this thing of pushing people back and not letting them through, and blah blah blah. And also we had the stop racism people on the other side. There was also a rally, which is basically just troublemaker. They were just fucking troublemaking. And then another lovely lady kind of guided me. I was behind her, and she sort of guided me through, if you know what I mean, behind her, so that I could sort of attach myself to her to push myself through, while everyone else was actually pushing the other way. Oh my God, Anne, honestly, there was a few moments where I was like, okay, and breathe. Do not panic. That's the last. Yeah. You can't panic, because you're in this. Nobody will be able to get to me, because I was in this kind of like. And then eventually got out to Westminster, sort of near Parliament Square, Westminster Underground, and then went round. There is a point to this story, because it's what happened next. Having met some lovely people actually in the crowd as well, then I went round the corner. Oh, and lots of Christians, lots of crosses, lots of Christ is King, and look, really nice, smiling. And then you turn around and you see a group of like men pissing up literally just pissing, because they had bogs, they had what you call them, like at festivals, with the loos, portaloos. But then it was funny, because I was there were men literally going, we were just pissing up the thing, like being at a football match. And then I went round the corner, must be about 4:00 or something, maybe a bit later, and to a place I go to sometimes, very nice, run by Portuguese. They're from, I can't remember, I think it's Portugal. And then just for a coffee, and then some lovely Glaswegian ladies, Glaswegians came, and one of them, he was mixed race. I think it was a son's friend. He'd been sprayed by tear gas by one of the coppers. Mm-hmm. And people had fallen to the ground. So probably not long after I'd got through. And then he was really you could see he was traumatized, this young chap.
Yeah.
And must have been in his maybe early 20s. And then they were lovely. Now they wanted to go to the loo. I mean, they said, do you know any loos? Do you know any bogs? So they don't say loos, because they're fucking Ouija's. Do you know if there are any bogs? They don't say bogs either, but you know what I mean? Toilet, is there a toilet? And because I know the guys, I know the calf. I know there's a loo, there's a toilet downstairs. So I said, hang on a minute, let me just nip in. Johnny. And he's like, yes, so probably speak very much English. And they went, he said, yeah, of course. And they all went down to the loo. Then we sat chatting, having a cig, and then got chatting about stuff and what they thought of Scotland and why they were down, and they just want to storm her out, and all these interesting things, and about the trans stuff. There was all like mix of stuff that people are worried about, wanting to be in a country that they love, that is together, not divided. And then after that, I think there was somebody else I met. Oh yeah, I met a lovely guy, couple of guys. One who was born here. This was a bit later. One who was born here, quite posh, quite sort of like sort of wearing a sort of sort of look. What was he wearing? Like a Burberry or something. Like a raincoat, but like a proper it was proper like label, with money, and sort of like wore white trainers. He was like, yeah, because I think he was a bit drunk. He was like, yeah, because I was born here, but my parents are from Iran. And blah, blah, blah. And, we think we believe Israel's our friend. And I just went, well, did you know that Charlie Kirk went to President Trump to try and to advise him not to go to war with Iran, which then Trump ignored. Mm-hmm. So but I wasn't saying it like, you're so stupid, you're young, do you not know this shit? And there was a lovely, lovely black guy, young black guy, called Jerome. I've got his number. I've got his number. That sounds a bit dodgy because I've got his number because I took a photograph of him and he said, "Can you send it to me?" So that's the reason that I've got his WhatsApp. I know it sounds really dodgy. I was basically going around trying to pick up some blokes at this march. That was my sole reason. It wasn't to be amongst my fellow. Exactly, it was fucking on the pool. It wasn't to be with my fellow downtrodden countrymen at all. It was basically to go and get some fucking see if I could get laid. No, the truth is, I met this guy. So this lovely guy Jerome, who had a union flag. I
saw a photograph of him.
Yeah,
I think.
What a nice man he was. Then next to him, I met a lovely guy called Rob. Let me just look because this is important because he's Rob Colfer. Again, mixed race. Not that that's. I'm saying this, by the way, describing this because I think it's really important that we understand it's not about the color of people's skin. It's about what's in here. It's about what's in there, you know? So you're going to get the right... And Rob, by the way, he's got so many Instagram followers. I was a bit like... We chatted, very nice, very level-headed, very smart, making a documentary. He's in his 20s. He's Rob Colfer, so that's Colfer. And we all chatted for a bit, you know, me and Jerome, and then this other guy, the Iranian, who was kind of... it was a little bit kind of pissed, posh guy, but I just thought, but he's got valid points, you know, he can, and then I just moved off and, you know, and I went away. But I just think it's really important to understand you are going to get people genuinely who hate people who look different with the colour of their skin. You're just going to get that. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. Even if we went, right, you're never going to get rid of race, you know, that element of people because it's kind of inbuilt in some not inbuilt, I think it's just indoctrinated in some people, you know. But my God, and after the march I just went, even though I was drenched, I was absolutely soaked through, and then met some other lovely geezers a bit later on who were again very you know, just they'd come down from wherever it was. I think it was Birmingham. Staying in the hotel, and I just popped in for to go for a wee and near me, and then but it honestly, the mood was I was uplifted. I wasn't down. I didn't come home and go, oh fucking hell, that was terrible. And and even the next day, I think, like I said to you, the next day there was people going, oh hello, good morning. I was and trust me, Anne, every day. I mean, I that's unusual. You know, I'll say it. I might say to people, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? But not, and very often you get a kind of, mumble. But there was something different on Sunday. I can't, even though it was like people had got drenched. There was obviously some people who got a bit leery, a bit pissed, but there was no masks. I saw one guy, they had masks on the other side, the Stop Racism. And then I saw one guy, I did spot him and go, yeah, you want to watch out for him because he had a black mask on. But you see, nobody else in the rally did. No one had masks on. There was no one. So, of course, the mask people stand out because you go, what the fuck have you got your... I think Abi Roberts did say, nobody who's got a mask is welcome. So you cannot cover your face. He did make a video saying that. But it's interesting, this whole thing. It's I mean, I'm sure there's people who looked at my Twitter or seen my photos and that I was there who are gonna go, oh fucking hell, Abs, oh, has she gone back into the normie world? No. Let me tell you guys, we're all living in this chaotic world. All of us. None of us are going to escape alive. So it's just how do you want your life to be? Who do you want to be around? Do you want to give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes, or do you want to stay in, your silos? That's my philosophy.
Yeah, and you've got to try and do what's right in your heart and soul, haven't you? What you think's right, and and I know your intentions. I know people would have gone there with the wrong intentions, but there would have been many with the right intentions. And I asked my daughter to stay out of London because I know how these these things can operate. I was actually
Yes.
very surprised the little trouble there was. I saw
Yeah, there was like
trouble.
9 arrests or something.
But when you've got the police kettle in, when you've
Mhm.
got Antifa involved, when you've got a right wing situation as well,
Yeah.
there's a chance of something brewing quite
Yes.
extensively. But it didn't do, which I was quite surprised. I was
There was
almost
no false
waiting
flag.
for it.
There was no false flag, Ant,
And
as I tweeted.
it was primed for it,
Yeah,
really, as well.
I mean, I trust me, and I was because you know that I'm alert to all these things. I'm aware, obviously, from the last few years. That I was, but honestly, I was. Yeah, I had optimism that this was something that wasn't, and obviously, I can't speak for that. I'm not involved in the Lawrence Fox, the Tommy Robinson. I'm not I'm not interested, as I tweeted. I'm not interested in the glitzy speakers and the people that were there for ego and narcissism, which, by the way, we all have obviously an element of. I mean, to do what I do, comedy and public speaking, you can't not have some ego involved.
Of course.
But that's not why I was there. That's not why I was there, because I looked around, I saw lovely families, really sweet families, of who'd come out and travelled for miles, and I thought, that's got to be worth it. It's got to be worth being around these people. And by the way, a lot of cross section with the COVID lockdown marches. There was a lot of, and the vaccine stuff. So that all played into it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like a kind of, but I just, yeah. And as you know, I'm still skeptical. I'm still able to ask questions. It's funny because I can hold two. Call me old fashioned. I can hold two different views in my head at once. Like I can look at the what went on, but then I can still know that Charlie Kirk, God rest him, was asking whether Israel, whether the Israeli government got the IDF to stand down on October the 7th. He was absolutely categorically. That's not me making it up. There's a video of him saying, we have to ask these questions. We cannot just be told, it's all, it was obviously just, Hamas just got through, because he said. So, you know what I mean? You can still be skeptical and cynical about, which we should be, about a foreign power and how they influence the likes of Tommy Robinson and Katie Hopkins. In fact, I saw Katie, she was interviewed by a guy called Norman Fenton, who's is Jewish guy. And by the way, I want to also say, because I was thinking, Ant, before I came on, I think we have to make the distinction between the Israel of the Bible, the biblical land, and the 1948 Israel and the Israel of Netanyahu. They are not the same.
Well,
so the spiritual land, and the Netanyahu. Sorry, and the reason I'm talking about this is because it's been churning around my mind. The just incredible propaganda and sort of I don't know, the sort of language that's used, like anti-Semitism, and then you go, well, Semites are Arabs as well. They're Aramaic. They're languages, Semitic languages. That's where the word Semite comes from. So, and I've said this before, but it's like, it's like anti-vaxxer. That's exactly what it's like. It's like anti-vaxxer. It doesn't make any sense, but it's used as a kind of to censor people and to bash people over the head.
It's a weapon,
I
isn't
fucking
it?
hate it.
It's a weapon. That's the thing. It's then they use anything as a weapon, won't they?
Yeah,
anything at all
to silence people. Well, where have we heard that before? So I get really So I'm just kind of and Charlie, the Charlie Kirk thing. Yeah, he's been on my mind a lot because again he's been painted as this sort of like this is what he thought. He never questioned this. He never questioned Israel. He never strayed. And the truth is, he fucking well did. Charlie Kirk was a proper free speech, I'd say absolutist. He was asking very, very interesting, and Epstein, about the Epstein files. He was quite angry, actually. I see a video of him at one point going, but we need to know. This is unacceptable. We can't just, we need to know who these people are. Why are we just, he's doing kind of like I am. He's sort of doing this. So whether that was why he's no longer with us, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't. Sorry, everyone. I'm not an oracle. I don't have the answers to what it was. But I just want people, to take away from this that the free speech is absolutely. I cannot tell you. I overemphasize how much free speech is at the root of everything that's gone wrong. It's to do with, freedom of expression, as you know, Ant, like comedy. If I want to say, fuck this, fuck that, about the, whoever, if I want to say that, it's my right to do so. And it's your right to leave the room or to not listen to me
agreed.
or to, whatever. Also, by the way, freedom of speech or freedom of expression, the freedom to speak, which is all part of our liberties and sort of, if you believe in, we're our sovereign rights under God.
Yeah.
Freedom of association is also part of free speech. So say, for instance, going to the march, or say I was like, I don't know, met Tommy Robinson or met Katie Hopkins or met people who you go, ooh, what the fuck's you doing? Meeting them. That's freedom of association. So if you believe in the freedom to speak, you should also believe in the freedom for people to speak to who they want to. Do you see what I mean? Even if you disagree with the person that they're talking to. So that's something that also been churning around my mind is this slight witch hunt for anyone who I've been guilty of it myself.
I don't think people want freedom of speech too much, though, Abby. I think that's the problem. I think the cancel culture has taken over massively.
Yes.
Where people, you can't say that you've offended someone now, so you can't say that. And I think people have been indoctrinated in that over the past 20 years, 20, 30 years.
Yeah. And we have to be careful as well, Ant, that that doesn't also seep into the truther movement. Because
it is doing, though. It is doing.
It is doing,
Because you can't associate, like you said about freedom of association, you can't. It's like, for example, the festival that I put on that you came thankfully to come.
Yes, I love that.
And it was a good festival, but the amount of people that refused to come because of the speakers I had on. So, and then my answer to that was like, look, you don't have to watch Mark Steele or Fiona if you don't agree with them. Just don't go in the tent when they're on.
Exactly, don't go in the tent. Go and have a coffee up the.
And then watch another one later. You don't have to. It's that's your freedom of choice to decide if you want to see them or not.
Yeah,
but I got completely lambasted for that.
That is also a kind of censorship, by the way. Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to have whoever you want speaking, Ant, or I do, it's absolutely within our right, because what they're saying, even if you disagree with them, their stance or their, what they're, you maybe in your more paranoid mind think they're connected with. It's important that you let people say what they've got to say and then decide or challenge them and go, I don't know why you say, why did you say that? Or
exactly. It's about discernment, isn't it? That's the thing. It's about, do you agree with it or not? I'll talk to anyone and listen to anyone, but I don't agree with most people. I'll be honest, but I've got to I've got to put value on that, as they've got a right to have an opinion.
Yes.
What I don't like is when people weaponize their voice in hate and and fuel it that way. I don't want any energy like that in my life. But
yes,
I'm
happy
hear you.
To, and negativity and kind of
and there's also, a lot of that. Yeah.
There's been recently, without going into too much detail, probably for legal reasons as well, stuff about where people have been written about on Substack, details, personal details, which I find absolutely fucking reprehensible. If it's one thing if you've got an opinion about somebody and about their motives, for instance, a doctor, a politician, or whatever, as I've done. The part they played in the last 5 years, fair game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're talking, when you're airing something which is personal and is something that is, I personally don't think should be in the public domain, then that's Judas behaviour.
It's bizarre. I've read it.
I'm quite angry about
it. Bizarre.
You can probably tell.
I was very, very disappointed
Yeah.
in what I read, and I won't go obviously into
Yes.
detail myself.
Into detail, yeah.
But I contacted one person that was written about.
Yeah. Yes.
To see if she was okay,
Yeah.
because it was not nice
God.
for what that, and I've been on the end of something similar recently from an old friend, and the police are involved. You
Really?
know, so yeah.
Jesus God.
Yeah. This is a guy I grew up with, and I won't go into details, obviously.
Yeah.
But that I've had to get the police involved, because
what's wrong with people?
Well, this is the problem that I find, is that we're so, I've talked about this to you before. People are so disconnected, so paranoid.
Yes.
So and it's the systems that tear people apart, and this is where unity is really important. If we can just kind of step back and realize what's going on, what's making you feel anger, feel this hate, what's fueling it. Let's figure that out, step out of it.
Yes.
And ultimately most people just want a good experience. As I've said, this place is hard.
Yes.
And we want to have a good time. Hence why we're putting on a show with comedy.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to bring dark. It's going to bring darkness as well, and there's going to be some difficult things to discuss during that event.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have joy. Let's laugh.
Very important.
But can I just mention about the march before I forget? Is
yes,
what,
of course, my darling.
It links with what we were talking about regarding politicians, because Keir Starmer's there at Arsenal football, watching the football while this match is going on. So this is a person that clearly is not bothered about those proceedings. So whatever. I mean, I understand the match. I think understand the unity of that. I think that's really important. But surely there has to be something strategic that can deal with these politicians in a better way, so they're actually representing the people in a proper moral manner.
Yes.
Because they just don't, do they? So I think their funding needs to be cut somehow.
Yes.
They're getting funded so heavily, possibly by the Zionist situation as well. We hear a lot about that. I don't know for sure. I can't vouch for it because I don't know.
I mean, why we're funding any foreign power is intelligent people should be bang their head against a wall and go, well, that's clearly not right. I don't care, give a fuck who you are, what you believe, what faith you are. That's part of the big lie.
But are people getting hurt? And why?
Yes. Yes.
Because people are. People are getting so badly hurt. But why? Is it necessary? Because it isn't. It surely isn't. I live in a council estate now, Ab, as you know, when we lost everything, and I see so much. You walk the streets and it's so sad.
Yeah.
And I see people's furniture that you'd be like, that people live like this.
Yes.
In 2025, and it's really tragic.
Yeah.
It's really tragic. People shouldn't be suffering.
Yeah.
There's that much wealth out there. There's that much opportunity. There's that much, I know people also need to get the finger out their ass and do stuff at times. I'm fully on board with that. But there are some people who just can't either, because they've been so damaged.
And also the other thing as well is I would understand. I would partly understand if it was some kind of economic. I don't know. I mean, I say this and then I think, well, actually, have they all been deliberately planned this way, like in the 70s and 80s? That when the 70s we came out of the Labour, and then all of a sudden it was like, let's all make some money in the 80s. But the thing that I still will always have anger, proper fury, is that in 2020 with the furlough stuff, when they spaffed billions, it was totally without any reason. There was no point to it.
Yeah.
And so they spent other people's money. So that's the bit that I would like to see them all, the gallows out. Is because it was taking other people's money.
Your wall of cunts has surely got larger and larger since 2020. The wall of cunts. You must be like, you must be no room.
Well, we're going to need a bigger wall.
We're going to need the wall of China.
Big wall of China. Yeah, honestly, Anne, it's I hear you about the march. What does it do? What does it do to kind of to change who we've got controlling us? I mean, that's a very good point. I've made some suggestions sort of on my pod a little bit about looking back to when other countries have been under Stalinist kind of regimes, what they did, gathering together, having a parallel society. So if we can't do it with the poll tax, the council tax, and not paying that and doing this, that, and the other, which is totally, I think, appropriate, because they've taken your money. So I mean, why pay them? Pay taxes? Although that's not me saying to people, well, do what you want. Do what you want. I'm just thinking to myself, if the police are watching, if you are, good luck to you, you fuckers, you traitors, you bootlickers. But what was I going to say? Yes, the parallel, the sort of idea that you said that Starmer gives a shit, I think is a bit naive, because he's a psychopath. So
exactly,
what do we do other than create our own way of
I think community is important.
Easier said than done, but
it is, and it's quite. I've had this discussion as well. It's quite interesting that we had a little community at the pub, and then when the pub ended, that community stayed together for a little while, and there was all these talks of getting land and how we would navigate together through this.
Yes.
But then when the Ukraine thing happened and the COVIDs died overnight, because that's they brought the flags out and then COVID died.
Oh yeah, then they dropped. Yes.
Everybody started pointing the fingers at each other because they had no common goal anymore and going, I just fucking hate you. And that was
really
the problem.
Good point. Really good point. But then you've got the people who back Ukraine versus the people that back Russia, or not even back Russia, people that see the Ukraine lie and the Ukraine propaganda, and then people that don't see it. So then you're back to square one. So like you said, it's all, I don't know, maybe it is
to play games. We're very fallible. And I think that if people could just step out of the box that they're putting us in, occasionally, I think we've more chance. But I think social media doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. It's terrible.
If I had this conversation the other day with John Cooper and Callie, who's obviously doing the show with us, and I was saying during 2020, if you didn't read the newspaper or watch the news or go on social media, apart from the fact that we're nobody in the streets, or maybe you saw someone wearing a mask, you wouldn't know that there was
going on,
deadly illness happening, and people would apparently just dying. You wouldn't have known because people weren't, were they? They just weren't.
Exactly. Yes. No. Quite. Yeah. It appears like.
Yeah, it was happening in care homes but we know that there's another reason for that. Anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
But my point is, if we can disconnect from the noise, maybe people would get along a little bit better, because we're constantly being dragged here, there, and everywhere.
I agree. And I was thinking about, because I was writing something earlier on, that social media, if you think about all the things you see constantly churning on your Instagram, the videos, the clips, the videos, blah 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 blah, even though a lot of it is AI, I think an increasing amount of stuff that even the people are scrutinizing for inconsistencies, and is that fake or not? Well, yes, a lot of it that's circulating is going to be fake, which is the other head fuck.
Yep.
The other thing I was thinking, Anne, is that if you think about it, everything you're watching on social media, it seems like a movie. Like in the 80s when you could pause it and you could rewind for for continuity issues. Sometimes for a laugh I used to go, oh look, what the fuck have they done there? They've put something and that wasn't there earlier on.
Now.
How's that appeared? And then for instance, like plot lines. You might watch a film and go, now this is the interesting thing is that it depends whether you want to live your life in a movie or real life. I mean, as in where we are, if I walk outside and I meet so-and-so and I meet my nice Portuguese guys, or, it's how much do you want your mind in that head fuckery? Yeah. And I would say whether you're part of the truther movement, freedom movement, any other movement, or just it's human nature to want to find everything out or look at everything, be a Columbo, be a this, that, the other. But ultimately, there is a big world out there of young people who just want to fucking just get on with it and have a future and hope and stuff. And so sorry if that sounds maybe a bit naive or and also I've stopped using the words normie and awake, because I suddenly started to think that's what they were calling us, anti-vaxxer, COVID denier, transphobe, TERF. All these things are labels when ultimately we're human beings.
Yeah, agree.
Who want with good in our hearts, mostly with good in our hearts. Maybe even the people who we think are bad. There's like a Solzhenitsyn used to say. Solzhenitsyn wrote that even there's a tiny chink of good in everybody, and because if we don't believe that, then what it's like what's the human race? What is humanity?
Yeah, it's a good point, but I think humanity at this moment is struggling because of the noise, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The like noise. You make a good point with this noise stuff. It is noise, and there was noise on Saturday, like you rightly said, Ant, because you're much more zen than I am as a person, and calm. But in the noise, it's funny because with all the the singing and the speeches and all that glitz and glamour, I did just on my way home just look, I don't know. I for me, Christianity, Christ, God is where my peace is. It's where I can't obviously, and I would never want to thrust that on anybody because that's not my personality. But sitting in a quiet place like a garden or a church, and whether you think of it as meditating or prayer or it's prayer for me, lighting a candle for people. The noise goes. It's gone. You know what I mean?
And if you're aware of it,
you go, you're looking at noise, you're looking at it and going, but I was singing, I have videos of me going, big wheels get harder.
I watched it.
Because, why the fuck not? Because it's like,
we need joy in our lives, Abs, don't we?
Yes.
We've had a really tough period over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And I think there's more tough times to come.
Yeah.
Especially the way this agenda's been rolling out. It's been quite clear to a number of us what their plans are.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we do find joy wherever we possibly can. And I've started listening to music again.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd stopped. No, I hadn't stopped.
Yes.
But I'd become really pissed off. Really.
Yes. And you were blaming even the musicians, probably.
Well, the artists, yeah.
The artists
that basically didn't. The rebels that I followed as a youngster.
I know. I hear you.
That were preaching the arm spears. So I got annoyed with the whole, and that music's been so important to me since I was a kid, and I've started listening again and not ignoring the fact that those people are probably a bunch of cunts, but enjoying the craft again because it gives something to me. And why shouldn't I have that? Why shouldn't I enjoy that? I can't just keep being angry.
Yeah.
All
And
the time.
you're an incredible person. People tell you this all the time. You are, honestly, because I know even just elements of what you've been through, and you're just so still got that, you know, goodness and just whatever it is, magic about you, where you just don't let it, you know, the darkness kind of consume you, because then you've let them fucking win. Whoever the state, the government, the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, Satan, you know, you let them win. And the music thing, that as you know, I mean, music is probably my first love from before, you know, comedy. But I've never stopped. I've been angry, don't get me wrong, at the artist and gone, you fucking pricks. But I've never. That's something I'm so glad you said that about music and started listening to it again, because, you know, I see people going on. Was it James Dellingpole said he'd never listen to Dark Side of the Moon again because it's satanic, and I'm like, oh, holy shit! Nobody's fucking gonna stop me listening to Pink Floyd.
No, me neither.
Because then where'd you go? Like, not listen to blues because Robert Johnson was on the crossroads and he met the devil, and then that's how Robert Johnson, you know, the story of the blues. At some point, you're doing things which are going to harm you. Like you said, Ant, when you started listening to music, it's because that's your passion, it's your life, it's the craft, it's the song, it's the notes are not the fascists, are not the authoritarian, you're the bootlickers. The notes aren't.
No, they're not.
The mind of the person who, you know, who went along with the jabs and, you know, whatever. That's with their conscience. That's between them and their maker to to do that. But it's great, Ant, that you said that, because I was thinking, I've had a few people go, oh, but I'm not, music's never been the same since. I'm like, fucking put that Michael Jackson, put Thriller on, put your Pink Floyd, put your Rolling Stones, put your Beatles on, and just, because, you know, life goes like that. It's
the craft that I enjoy. I'm not looking at celebrity, obviously, as anything. No, I have no Pied Piper that I want to be following. Do you know what I mean? I'm grateful for people like Ian Brown, obviously, that because I followed him since I was a kid, to stand up during that. You know, I'm grateful for that, but you know, I'm not going to be hanging on their every word either, because, you know, if 2020 has taught anyone anything, these influences, you've got to figure shit out yourself.
Yes.
You know,
they might have been right about. Did you know that George Bernard Shaw, who, by the way, is a Fabian, and I'm sure you know about the Fabian Society, because I've been talking about it for quite a while, and then all of a sudden Twitter's like a light with, who are these Fabians? Fucking hell! Like, you know, they've only influenced most of political thought for the last, however, you know, since 1880 or something. The 1880s. But I was going to say, sorry, I just went off on one then. George Bernard Shaw, you know, the Irish playwright, he was a Fabian. He's a eugenicist. But did you know that he's one of the first anti-vaxxers? He thought vaccines were evil.
Really?
That's a true story. So yeah, you said, Ant, bang on. Do your own, have a read around stuff and realize that there are great, even though eugenicists, it's of course it's evil, of course it's reprehensible, but look at the time as well that people were writing stuff in and maybe the other things that they had to say, because human beings are complex, aren't they? When I read that about George Bernard Shaw, I was like, what? He was what? He thought vaccines were evil. So do you see what I mean? So then my head was like, like explodes with
I say nothing surprises me, but I think every day there is something that can surprise you. You know, I just think, and we said this off air, it's like, don't be a cunt. You know, it's
Yeah.
like your moral compass is there for a reason
Yeah.
and a purpose, and it's not difficult. It's like it's really quite easy to recognize when you've done something wrong
Yeah.
towards someone else. You feel it in your gut, and if you feel it in your gut, surely have a think about your reactions. You know, it's
Yes.
kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't need to be able to, but we have got some serious issues coming on our doorstep right
Yeah.
now, haven't we? We've got the digital ID shit, the
Digital
Palantir, the
ID.
social crediting, all this stuff that
Yeah.
we've been talking about in 2020. All this bollocks is coming our
Yes.
way. So
Yeah.
this is where unity has to really happen. There
Yes.
has to be
Really happen.
very quickly has to be strategies and discussions on how to navigate this or to stop it completely, because they've made their decision. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
We've got this on our doorstep, and I think this is why, you know, the marches are good in that respect to bring people together, but there's going to have to be some strategy as well.
Strategy and yes, and focus on. I think the one on Saturday, I suppose, was more about this kind of idea, of a Starmer, you know, being. I mean, he is a fucking danger. In fact, it's funny because they were saying Starmer was a wanker. I was like, and I kept saying, no, he's a traitor. You got to get that word. He's a traitor to the British people, because he's a Fabian. He's essentially a communist who wants digital ID is what Stalin would certainly have. Well, it's pretty much existed apart from the digital part. But Stalinism, you know, and any authoritarian regime, they would be absolutely, that was their aim, was if you could just show a little phone, or have even, you know, have something in your arm. That's what Stalin would have done, 100%. If he'd had people going, yeah, we've got the technology, Stalin, comrade, you know, let's go on, let's do it, okay, then put the thing in the digital ID. Do you know what I mean? It's all just a continuation of this control, of this wanting the human race and human hearts to be under the what I was going to say, a thumb. It's a jackboot.
Yeah, it is.
So there's nothing new under the sun here, Ant. This has been this has been on people's agendas for a lot longer, I think, than people realise. This sort of Blairite, third way socialism, I suppose is what you'd call it. Cameron, it infected the so-called conservatives as well. All this stuff, you know, this mindset, because people are easier to control if you've got them chipped. You know, they're easier to control. But like I said, they can't control all of us, everything. It's impossible. Because look at us, the conversation we're having now. That's the bit they can never get to, is what's in here and what's in. I'm pointing at my heart. People not with the visuals. So that's, we've got to look back to our wonderful, our ancestors, our Czech people, you know, like Václav Havel, all the people that lived under the Czech regime, the Soviet aligned Czech regime, people that lived under Mao, China, where they were fucking just massacred, you know, executed in the street. People were like surveilling them. Neighbors, you know, were kind of grassing their neighbors up. This has all happened before. The only difference now, I think, to us is that we maybe mistake we made was we thought it couldn't happen here because we thought it was all just part of history, and you know, that's what Stalin did, that's what Mao did. Oh, but it won't ever happen here. You know, so ideas never go away. Bad ideas never go away, Ant.
No, they don't. And when you've got people, as we keep going back to, in power, these are just actors anyway, in my opinion. But these people that are playing these parts that have no empathy, are totally devoid of probably attachment to their soul, if they have one at all. Anyway, that's the issue. We've got people like Starmer. For me, was primed for that position. They're groomed into these positions.
Yes.
And he's doing his job. He's just doing his job.
Just like Blair did, just like Theresa May, just like Cameron did, just like all of them. You know,
All
the
of them.
list
All of them.
the list goes back and back and back. I mean, the interesting thing for me, it's only because I'm quite into my political thought, into my sort of I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that, is where this communitarian has another word as well. It's quite confusing because communitarian people go, oh, is that like community, local community? No, it isn't. It's basically communist ideology, but it sounds better. The word communitarian sounds better. You know what I mean? You can sell it. You can sell it better. It's a bit like social justice rather than woke. Well, woke sounds nice, doesn't it? Oh, it's woke. It's everyone's awake. So it's like these people have know what language does. They know that you can sell things a lot better.
Yeah, they do.
With different words. You know what I mean? So everyone goes, oh, what's wrong with that? If all the words, you know, I want to teach the world to sing and perfect harmony. It's like, well, yes, but I can choose not to sing though. I want to opt out. That's it's been, you know, so all the 60s and all that kind of like, hey man, peace. Let's all come sort of let's all be one. Well, there's a slight danger in that as well, because then obviously as we saw with the last 5 years, you got the person putting up their hand and going, sorry, I don't want to. If it's all right with you, I think I'll just not, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's the whole individual versus the state as well. And it's you know, as you can see, my brain's like.
It's tricky. It's tricky. I just think that we just got to be looking at the fact that is it harming people?
Yes.
And I think that is the simple side of it for me. Is just what they're bringing in going to harm people, and it will do some serious harm to people, and therefore, why are we doing it? You know, and therefore, if it's going to harm people, then we should stand against it.
Yes.
And I think, and that's my view on it. And you know, I know we can never have perfection. I don't think we live in a perfect world, and I don't think people are perfect. I think we're just trying to do our best.
Yes.
But I think we can do better. I really do think we can do better, and I think the world can be better than this. Because we're out of balance. It's just about bringing some balance back. We're always going to have shit, and we're always going to have goodness. It's always going to be like that. That's not going away. But we need more love in the situation, and less fear, and less anger, and less hate, and less divisive shit that we're seeing constantly at the moment. The labels are very good for dividing people up.
The labels. You know, I just wanted to, before I forget, you know, do you know Nat Arwenstar? Nat, she's on Twitter. Lovely lady. She's French. I just wanted to hold this up because she recommended this. It's a water bottle, and she said she got it, and it's really cute because she said it's she wants to cheer herself up, you know, with having a. So I got one as well. So I just wanted to say thanks, Nat, because it's really. Do you know what I mean? It's like really joyful. It's like got mountains and clouds and like sun. And a little rainbow. No, it's not a rainbow. Yeah, a little sailing boat on it. And I just got. It came to me. You know, I got it, and I was like, "Oh, she's right." I feel so. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just like having a plastic or whatever, I say carry it around, like a little lid. So thanks, Nat. That's not a promotion, by the way, of any company. It's just Nat.
That highlights,
she's a good woman.
But that highlights, doesn't it, the simplicity of finding some kind of joy in our life, where we're surrounded again by this noise, but we can find really. It's like the child in us. The child in us never really has gone. It's been suppressed.
No,
and that's why what you do is so important, because you bring the joy when you know with the comedy like that. What your role is one of the hardest roles out there. It's a very tough role.
It's difficult because I'm feeling it more. I definitely feel a shift in me. There was a bit of a kind of like a while back, you know, thinking, oh my God, everything's so dark, and I was so what's the word, consumed by is this real? Is this not real? Is this thing? Blah 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 blah. Which is why I'm afraid I've me and elements of the truth movement, shall we say, have parted company, because I could feel it affecting my strength. You know, like the like Superman with his when he's near the kryptonite, I was like, oh, I can feel like all my limbs are kind of gone soggy. I can feel my brain there's no clarity here. I'm kind of a bit, it's all a bit sort of fuzzy. So that was my decision, to kind of, and then it's funny because the comedy, the lightness is coming back. So there is a bit of there is something, isn't there, in that, where you just it's
energy.
Energy, exactly. It's energy. I don't like the louche. I don't like the the louche energy where you just go, oh, I don't want sort of to go down that path, even though there's people down there going all down a rabbit. Because I said to someone the other day, I said, the thing with rabbit holes is they're very, very dark. They're underground. You're going to meet some moles. Definitely some moles in the fucking truther movement, that's for sure. Yeah, and not the furry kind, the cute kind that do this with their little paws.
It starts off as cute, though.
Yeah, they start off as cute, and then you go, fucking hell.
It's got big teeth, that one.
Get the bloody teeth out. Jesus Christ, the fangs from the little cute little paws. And then, so I know it sounds a bit trite and maybe a bit obvious, but it is there's a reason why we look up to the stars, to the sky, to everything around us, to the air, into people's eyes and into faces. You can't see people when they're underground in a rabbit. I mean, you know what I mean? So that's the way I know it kind of might sound a little bit, like I said, simplistic, but that's the way I look at it. And you can only really take the piss as well if you're on the surface going, oh, God almighty, look at what the fucking hell's that happening over there? And what's that person doing? And, whatever. But anyway, it's just about keeping sane, really. It's just about, like you said, Ant, we're back to your balance. Great word. Just balance. Just think to yourself, at the end of the day, do I want to be uplifted? Do I want to think, that was I feel kind of energized by that? Or do I want to go, oh, Jesus Christ. If I say one more fucking psyop conspiracy, is it real? Did he move his hand? Honestly, Ant, you can't look at all that stuff and not go mad. You can't. It's physically impossible.
You can get so consumed by it, and I know these are my opinions on it. I know that we are lied to constantly. We're dragged here, there, and everywhere. These events that happen, there will be elements. There'll be a middle road sometimes on it where it won't be a complete psyop. But the issue with these events is they're weaponized against people. That's the issue. It doesn't, if it's real or not, it's weaponized.
Yes.
And is it harming someone? This is where I then come into it.
Yes.
Is it harm? If there's harm, then there's an issue with it. And you can go down these rabbit holes as I have. JFK is a prime example of that, and we will never know properly what happened, but we know we were lied to. 9/11's the same.
Yes.
We know we're lied to.
Yes.
It's
we
a
know
lie.
It's not the story that's given.
The narrative's bollocks. COVID we're lied to.
Yes.
We know it's a lie.
Completely. And people were harmed, as they were in 9/11. The 3,000 people were killed.
Exactly. But then even the policies that come from those events harm people.
Yes.
That are born from those events that are harming people.
Sure. Yeah.
So I have issue with all of that. But I'm like any conspiracy theorist. I'll dig into things, but then I'll always go, well, it could be.
Yes.
It's possible. Is it possible that Charlie Kirk is an example? Is it possible that it was staged? It's possible. Was he? I don't know. I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
I haven't got a clue.
Do you know what my favorite? Do you know what my favorite phrase is? It's possible, but is it likely? That's that's my mantra. I'm not talking about, there's some, obviously, with things like the COVID and the vaccines. Well, it's quite, like I said, you don't need to know about science and data to know that coercing and mandating anything into people's bodies doesn't matter. Fuck the mRNA. I thought that was a drug people took at raves in the 90s. when I first heard mRNA. What the fuck's that?
A big bag of them.
A bit of MDMA in your arm. But so that's for me. That was a clear cut, a cut and dried case. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's like it could have been orange juice they were putting into people's arms.
Yeah.
But the coercion, bullying, and vilification was already the crime. But then so then we get into the whole Charlie Kirk thing, which is it's funny because I'm going to do a pod about that tonight, about the the various sort of theories. I come down. Well, but there are a couple of theories. Is it didn't happen at all, that it's staged, and that he's alive somewhere. I don't know where he'd be living, and that his wife and kids and everyone else was in on it. That's one theory. Another theory is that Mossad was behind it because he was questioning October the 7th and Epstein and the role Israel was playing, AIPAC, the stuff that Tucker Carlson talks about as well. There's another one which is the other one is that it was. Now this is what's interesting to me, is people very often go for the other stuff before they look at the fact that people shoot other human beings sometimes for very simple reasons. For instance, a wife that has found out that her husband is cheating, or it's a crime of passion. So the amount of times that's the reason is extraordinary. The motive, means, and opportunity are the three things in crime. So Columbo, which I love, Columbo, he always goes, motive, means, opportunity. And the motive is the thing which is key. It's what is, and this is if you discard the fact that the staging and all the implications that go along with that, is that if it is somebody who regards Charlie Kirk as an enemy of someone that they love, that they deeply love, and that some of what Charlie Kirk said went against it, that's the only motive you need. That's the only motive for killing somebody. Is love. Is out of love. So there you go, guys. Thank you very much. Lieutenant Columbo's on the case. So I just always, and just one more thing. So I always use the phrase, it's possible, but is it likely? And I'm talking about in the world that we, in the world we live in, and all that.
I see that everything is potentially possible because the world's crazy.
Yes.
We're in a even I struggle sometimes to believe what's in front of my eyes sometimes, because this world is so absolutely insane. So everything on social media, you see every single angle, and I'll go, well, it could be.
Because social media will be the death of us. It will be the death of sanity to me, because I'll give you an example. The eulogy, the wife's, Erica's eulogy. I watched it and went, blimey, that's quite schlocky, a bit hammy, and kind of like, surely it's and then I thought, and then I went, hang on a minute, Abs, okay, watch it, but just then with your rational brain, think to yourself how I was at my husband's funeral. Yeah, I read a Dylan Thomas poem, and Death Shall Have No Dominion. One of the hardest poems you could probably choose to bloody read. But it's because, it's my favourite poem, and it's so passionate. And honestly, afterwards, the guy went, God, maybe you should do my job. Because I've seen a clip of it, and it's like I am determined with everything I've got to. It's like an Oscar, Oscar-winning thing. Not because I was acting, not because I was. It was fake, but because it was for him. It was for Terry, and I met people in days afterwards. And honestly, I used to tell them the story of Terry, whether they wanted to hear it or not, because I was fucking determined that he was not going to be forgotten. His legacy, his kindness, his intelligence, his goodness was not going to be wasted. And I think, and people may disagree with me, that's fine, but this is my view, is that that's what she was doing. She was like, I am fucked. I don't care if I'm literally on Valium, and I am going to, with every fucking bone in my body, every sinew, I am going to get this out. And you know, there are a few words where you might go, well, that sounds a bit, I was going to say acted, but when you're emotional, and look at me, I mean, honestly, if you saw me doing Terry's thing, you'd be like, fucking hell, is this like is this a scene in a movie? No, it's because I was like, I'm doing it for Terry. And then the casket, you know, the body, the embalmed thing when she's with the, I've seen, I don't know if other viewers, you or any other viewers have seen an embalmed body. That's exactly that's exactly what that's what it looks like. It's yellow. It's kind of, it's fucking awful what they do to embalm a body. So
do you know what though?
It was a fucking mannequin. Yeah, they look like mannequins. When I've seen my mother-in-law, when I've seen a woman in a church in Russia, they look like mannequins because that's real. That's how we're all going to look at the end.
I think the problem is though, Abs, is that we have too much information. I don't think as human beings we're capable of
taking it all in,
of all this stuff that's going on. You know,
it's
too much.
Yeah,
it's too much, and you know, JFK as an example.
Yes,
there's a number of things that could have happened there.
Yeah,
there's a number of things that could have happened at 9/11. There's a number of things that could have happened at the Charlie Kirk thing, depending on what angle you decide to attach your story to.
Exactly. Yes, quite.
I don't know what happened. I saw something, but I've also seen lots of other things. I wasn't there, and I don't know him.
But is it because also, if you've seen things from different angles, the Charlie thing, if it's AI generated, as in if it's been manipulated before it's been set off into the, you know, into people's eyes, then it's going to look fake, isn't it? It's going to look wrong to our. And actually, do you know something? None of us are meant to see a death. We're not meant to see a violent death.
You know what?
It's so horrific.
I had this conversation the other day.
Yeah.
My lad's 15 years of age.
Yeah.
And he's getting to see that.
Oh, my nephew did as well, he's 13.
Exactly.
Fucking
kids are getting to see this.
Yeah.
Why? That's a question. Why are they able to see such horrific stuff on social media?
Yeah.
And I know we're talking about freedom, but there's certain things that kids don't need to see.
I totally 100% agree with that. It's like a snuff. It's a snuff movie. It's
is.
Oh my fucking God. This is the kind of thing where it was all in the back of a pawn shop. You know what I mean? You'd have like a dark room where there were fucking cages.
That's right. Your Triple X movies. And
Triple X, where it's like, oh God, no, that's proper, like, that's murder or not murder.
That's
a snuff movie.
You know, the Bang Bus, Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus.
Exactly.
At the top shelf.
Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus. Yeah, we're back to, funnily enough, we're back to what Charlie Kirk used to talk a lot about is morality, Christianity, Christian values, whether you're, whatever, however you approach God, because I know people approach God and in different ways. We're back to, aren't we, where is the moral compass? So our children, I haven't got children, but my lovely nephew, Ol, who listens to, by the way, listen to Charlie Kirk. He listened to his podcast and Candace Owens and all those kind of things. And he's a smart kid. I don't think he listens to my podcast, so he's not quite old enough to hear. Can't whatever. But he knows what I'm like. But he saw it, and I said to him, I said, "Ol, be sad." I said, "Be sad, mourn." I said, "But don't be frightened. Don't be cowed by this, by what's happened. Speak out to your friends. Don't let this thing fucking railroad what you're who you are as a person. But I was appalled. I couldn't believe it. I was like, fucking hell, these kids have seen that happen. I don't know.
Yes, it's not good. It's not good at all.
And the difference is, of course, we didn't have cameras back in. We did with JFK, but I mean, there's been other horrific murders that aren't on camera, that aren't filmed. Because people have got their phones, haven't they? Because anyone, if you think about it, could be. I mean, God forbid, I'm walking down the street, or I'm in the crowd in the rally. Anyone could have taken a pot shot, and anyone could have taken a pot shot at any of those people on that stage. I'm telling you, it was fucking piece of piss. You could literally have just, I don't know, gone up a side road, gone up at a thing, gone up a thing. There was no, there's no one sort of patting you down for what you've got. So that's interesting, isn't it, in itself? No one thought, okay, now this is my chance to do it.
There's we could talk for hours and hours.
I know,
and
mate.
hours and hours and hours.
And hours and hours about the ins and outs. But all I would say is just talk to Christ. Give yourself to give, because he's outside. This is the great thing about Christ, the Son of God, in my belief. He's outside of all this. He's not in the noise. He's not in the kind of, but she said and that said, and have you seen the thing? And the movies. He's not interested in any of that. His world is not yet here, his kingdom. So even if you think what I'm saying is a load of absolute shit, at least you're not going to be in the noise and in the kind of the worldly churn of confusion. That's the best way I can describe it, Ant.
And there's the one thing. Well, one of the many great things about you, Abs, is that you talk about that you may not agree with people. Now, everyone's got their opinions, but you will always fight for their opinion.
Always.
And I think that's where we're at, really. We are always going to have a difference of opinion. And are we falling out about it? Do we need to fall out about it? Is it that important we fall out about it? Can we come onto some kind of common ground to actually stop the crazy shit that they're pulling out? Because everything the noise that's put out there is to distract us massively, whilst they're delivering Palantir, social credit scores, your Brit card and all that bollocks.
Brit card.
They make that all patriotic as well, don't they? You got a Brit card.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course it's patriotic.
Yes.
Wankers. But that's the thing. We can't possibly agree with everything. We can't. But the world would be boring if we did. So but surely we can get along better than what I've been recognizing, especially in the Truther movement in the past couple of years. Surely we can get along a bit better before they railroad our kids and our grandkids with this digital prison that they have planned, because we need unity right now.
Yes, I agree. Don't let the darkness, don't let resentment colour your soul, your heart, who you are. We're all going to have, and I have days, as you know, I've been angry as they come, fucking wank, whatever. But essentially, at some stage, you've got to try and let some of that anger go. I'm not talking about pursuit of justice and avoiding what's coming. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about for your own personal well-being, and also to preserve some strength. Some because like you said, they want people to be distracted by stuff and take their eye off the ball.
Of course they do. Everything's about stopping you finding your true self, and if you don't have self-love and true self, know yourself, they're going to have you.
Yeah, exactly. Know yourself. Stand. Okay, sounds a bit wanky. Stand in your truth. Nail your colours to the fucking mast. Even if it doesn't matter if someone goes, "Oh fucking hell, really?" Just say, "Well, could be that this is what the case is, and then you just like go, anyway, do you want a pint, or should we go to I don't know, have a talk about God for 10 hours? That's fine. And then you part company and go, oh great, I'll see you next week. But it's the letting the vitriol, don't let like personal resentment, vitriol kind of get in there. It's easy. I know it's very sometimes easy to let that happen. But like I said, I've been quite surprised by certain quarters, shall we say.
Disappointed.
Jesus, disappointing because...
Yeah.
Well, because ultimately, do you know something? I was just thinking, even if, as I said, I'm can be very judgmental and sort of kind of like go, oh, fuck, like a bit, what's the word, disgruntled and stuff about things. But eventually, I think of it as a lasso. I think of Christ and stillness and forgiveness and sort of coming back to self as a lasso. So, when you lasso yourself into the world of like, fuck this, and you said this, and you fucking whatever, then guess what? Eventually the lasso is going to pull you back in to you, to where you are. If you haven't got, if you haven't got that lasso, that bit of elastic properly like taut, then you're off. You're lost. Not completely lost, but you need to find your way back.
Well, just to before we close, because I literally could talk for hours and hours and hours on this.
Bless you. I love it. I love this. I feel like we're not even doing a pod. We're just like having a chat.
No, we're just having a chat.
Yeah, having a chit chat. Let's plug the show.
Let's plug the show. So it's October the 8th. So as was mentioned,
October the 5th.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I said the 8th and Sunday the 5th. Yeah, and it's going to be the doors open at 3.
And where is it, Ant?
It's in Birmingham. I'll put the details in the show notes.
Yeah.
To the venue, and where to get the tickets. You get the tickets from event101.org. There's a super early bird price at the moment. It's a very intimate little venue. It's going to be really nice. It's going to be, I think we can fit 100 people in there. I think something like that. So I think that'd be a really nice number. And there's obviously yourself, Gareth Ike, and there'll be a number of faces. I'm pretty sure that people in the Truther movement will
seen
recognize.
Some people coming. Charlotte, Emma's coming. I think Fiona's going to come. She's been plugging it, which is really nice of her.
Yes. So they're coming, and Matt Hoy's coming.
Matt Hoy.
Yeah, he's coming.
Of course, he's a Brummie, isn't he?
He's a Brummie, so he's on his doorstep, so he's coming. Yeah. So there's a few names that people recognise.
Yeah.
And I think we just got to look at some of the dark stuff, but let's have a laugh as well.
Let's have a laugh.
And let's have some unity.
As well as doing my funnies, my funny stuff. I will be getting the voice, getting the old the pipes.
Good.
You've got good pipes. Corner, been getting out belting out some bits, not like with tracks, but I mean just as part of my act. I'll just be doing some stuff. So you'll get a little bit. You'll get some music as well in what I do. Because why the fuck not? I'm
looking forward to that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think if after your section, then I think we're all just going to sit down and maybe have a bit of a Q&A. I think maybe as well, and let the audience ask us some questions. You and Gareth will probably get more than we will, but it'll be nice to have a chat with the people that are in attendance as well. I think so. It's going to be. And then the bar's open till 2 a.m. if people want to stay and drink.
Get absolutely plastered with me. Come and get plastered with Abi Roberts.
Exactly. No, there's a poster.
Yeah, and put your phones away. No photos. Can you imagine, like literally all over there's like this. me buy some bins out the back of the pub with Gareth Ike, like this. That's like you said. We need to have fun. Need to like get the good times back.
We do. We desperately need to get some good times back.
And anything digital, get the face-to-face stuff. Get away from this fucking digital shit.
I know. Let's have some real face-to-face people.
Yeah.
Feel the energy. Have some fun.
Feel the energy. Feel the love.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that's all we got, man. This is just a ride, as trip, as Bill Hicks used to say. Enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And just to closed. So it's called Event 101. But interestingly, you'll know this because you're much brighter than me.
Is it 201 or 101? Because 201 was the COVID, wasn't it?
Event 201 was the COVID one. So we're flipping the script.
Flipping the script. Yes, like Room 101. Okay, I get it. I hear you, brother.
Yeah, so Room 101, you'll know this one. Yeah, so in 1984, it was the torture chamber in the Ministry of Love.
You're going to be tortured by me. Literally, I'll be looming over people. Laugh, you fucking cunts. Laugh.
Abby, it's been wonderful to chat to you again. I look forward to seeing you in a
What's
few
the link
weeks.
again, darling? Sorry, say the link
Event101.org.
Event101.org to get your tickets now, you tight bastards, and support Ant, because honestly, he's one of the best, absolutely best. We always have good chats. We're always open to everything, open to discussing anything, and that's the way we need to be. So please come and support him, and you'll meet some great people as well in the crowd as well, and then just have a great night.
Matt Devlin's coming as well. He's going to be selling
Devlin,
his books.
Bloody hell!
There's
Hell's bells.
There's going to be a few people there. We'll have a good time. It's going to be great.
Exactly.